Where you at, dude?
I'm a regular guy, but when I'm on stage, I'm psycho. And then I'm like, sorry, folks, didn't mean to get carried away. Just I freak out. Right
Oh, I hear you.
Well, my name is Smith Laser, and I'm here to
hear me now, still?
Why's everybody always picking on me? Oh!
Yeah, I can hear you.
No.
I need video.
Sounds so fresh and so clean, like a new pair of socks.
I can't see you.
Downtown Brown's gonna make your motherfucking
Let me
brain
figure that part out.
break out.
Are we singing now?
Yeah, we're rolling and we're live.
All right.
Let me find me. Okay, so we're rolling. This is the first time we've done this shit live. It's on the internet right now. It's like being streamed on YouTube currently.
All right, that's crazy.
It is crazy. Why is it gallery view like that?
I don't know. I just see you, and I'm in the tiny little corner,
Yeah.
and that's fine with me.
Usually it's, oh, there we go. It's side to side. Bro.
Wow.
We're live and there's one person watching us. So, I mean, we're going, dude.
It's on, dude. We're show business.
So, hey, this is my podcast, SUPcast, and I'm Neil Patterson, and I'm here with my friend John Curry. And I'm going to run the intro, dude. Let's run this intro. You ready?
Do you think?
You're not going to be able to see it,
Okay.
but the world is going to be able to see and hear it.
I'm excited for them.
So let's, I'm excited for them too. So let's go. What's up? Okay, we're here. Hold that thought.
All right.
So what are you talking about, dude? What's going on?
Oh, I just found this tape, Paul Vanuk's street fighting series, tape 3, headbutts, knees, and elbows, and it's hilarious.
What year is it from?
Hold on. Well, it's 50 minutes long. It came out of Ole, Pennsylvania. I'd have to say maybe something in the early 2000s, maybe. I
Okay.
kind of looked at his website. The dude's weird.
Is it a VHS tape?
Yes, it's a videotape.
Ooh. So, have you learned anything from this VHS tape?
I know that I could break a melon open with my forehead.
Yeah, have you tried it yet?
No, I learned that it's actually possible.
Yeah, I think a lot of things are possible. Physics, and especially with the human body. I mean, at least that's what Joe Rogan says. He says you can break stuff.
Well, that's what he's saying too. And supposedly the guy that taught this guy was like Bruce Lee's protege. And he's like barefoot in the street with like a little mobile home behind him while he's like doing all this to show you like how to do it. It's pretty good.
Rex Kwon Do. So you're in New Orleans, right? Everyone, like, there's one person watching, but this is also being recorded, so we're gonna be able to share this when it's done for the world. So this is John. Do you go? Is it John, correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
John Curry, aka Juan Curry, aka Fat Boy from Outer Space, Fat Boys from Outer Space, plural. Felix,
Okay.
Blind Texas
Felix.
Marlin, all of the above.
Yeah, dude. So the government can't find me.
Yeah, many pseudonyms. What's cool though is that you became somewhat active on social media as of late. So
yeah, because I've got nothing. Like, I can't go get drunk in public.
but it makes a dildo like me feel a little bit more connected to know that there's a weirdo like you existing in a different place and you're doing stuff. Because before you were like really under the radar, dude. Like I knew you were like alive, but I didn't know what was going on with you.
Well, I didn't use the internet that much before, just because I didn't find a point. Well, I didn't have to. So
Yeah, now here you are on the fucking internet doing live streams and raising money and
Yeah.
so
feeling good about life.
So how are you feeling about your life on the web now, because you've spent so long not being on the web and now you're on it?
It's kind of weird. I just got to try to think about what I do on the internet, because I've seen a lot of people just like crazy internet fights where people go back and forth and there's all kinds of insanity. Like, I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to become like a full-on internet person.
I had an ex that would spend days arguing with strangers on the internet about politics and about social justice issues and whatnot. And she got so heated, she literally would just like walk around staring at her phone, just like frantically typing. And I'm just like, dude, it's like, first of all, you're not going to change any of these people's minds by arguing with them. You're a stranger, and they hold their beliefs very close to them. And second of all, you're wasting your time, and you're all super pissed off.
Yeah, you're really mad.
Like she was fucking fuming for days. She's like, "Can you believe this idiot? Can you believe this idiot?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can. I can believe these idiots, and I don't think you're gonna do anything by yelling at them on Facebook." You know?
No.
Shit.
So as long as I avoid that kind of stuff, I feel pretty good about my life on the internet now, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like you're just being you. You've always been a really genuine dude. There's 2 people watching now. Explain, and to the human beings that are gonna watch this later, explain what you do and who you are. Cliff's Notes version if you want, or if you want to get in depth, you can as well.
I don't really know what to say though. I'm just a dude that makes stuff under a lot of different names, just so to avoid any discomfort to myself.
And what type of stuff do you make, bruh?
I play music, and I'm a painter, but I like to make stuff out of anything I can, I guess,
Yeah, so would you consider yourself an artist?
In the grand scheme of things, I guess that's what it is. It's more of just didn't really grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Yeah, I feel the same thing. It's like I got this Peter Pan shit going on. I just want to play, and I want to try to find a way to play as much as I can and still eat.
Well, it's pretty good because both of us have kind of done that.
Yeah, like I was saying fucking on our phone call, I managed to make more money in the last month than I was when I was out in the real world playing gigs. It's fucking ridiculous.
Oh, no, that's very true. Like, I've made every gig I've done on the internet, I've made more money on than I do on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Like, I play every Sunday, and I do not make nearly as much money on the Sundays at the Circle Bar that I have playing Sundays in my living room.
And it's unreal.
It is. It's really weird. Because
at first, like when the pandemic or whatever first happened, I was like, fuck all this. Everyone is just they're just like, look at me, because the one thing I noticed, there was a lot of musicians that like never gigged that were just like, they just were like, look at me, and I was like, wait a minute, like I didn't even know this motherfucker played guitar. Not to talk shit, and not, but it seemed weird to me. it seemed weird to me, and I'm like, okay. So I didn't want to just add to that fucking onslaught, that initial onslaught of all these people streaming, and I was like, I can't add to this. So for 2 weeks, I just like watched the news, was anxious, fucking just like was freaking out, super fucking weird about everything that was going on. And then after a while, I'm like, well, I got to do something. So I started doing the streaming thing, and I'm like, all right, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it in like a creative way and not have it be necessarily just like, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to like put some effort into it and not just be like some Yahoo like screaming at his phone, you know?
Oh no, I agree with you. That's why I set up all the weird projectors and shit when I do it, so it's like a thing.
Yeah, like
Just like look at my face and my emotions.
Yeah, just try to make it like a little bit interesting or a reflection of who you are as a creative person.
No, it's just weird to me. It's like you're at home where like all of your toys and all of your tools are. You can like do so many things, like all the weird little projects that you've kind of been working on or other ideas. You don't have to just play like, just me and my guitar. Like do a bunch of weird stuff. I think like you have a whole like house to play in.
Yeah.
It's kind of goofy to me. I mean, I guess some people it's just play guitar or play an instrument, and that's fine.
There was a year, like an entire year, because I'm out here in Southern California, where I was sleeping in someone's living room with my girlfriend. She moved back from New York City, and we were literally like having a sleepover every night. Like we had a bed and stuff, but it was out on our roommate's living room floor, and that was like our room. But it lacked privacy. It was strange. And then we moved into this place, and we're like, we finally had our own spot. Our name is on a lease. We were like, we had our own space, and we were like thinking about what we were gonna do with our lives. And then this shit happened, and now this is like our kind of like our prison. But that being said, I'm glad I'm in this prison instead of in a house with 9 people. As much as I love those 9 people, I'd much rather be stuck in solitude with one person. Just it's nice to have your own fucking space.
Oh. I'm really happy. Like, I mean, my roommate's like one of my best friends, but I'm happy he spent most of his time at his girlfriend's house, and it's just me in this place alone.
Okay, so you got a roommate now? Because last time I came and visited you, I think it was just you in that spot.
No, I had a roommate then still, but he lives like on the very back end of the house, and he spends most of his time at his girlfriend's house.
Ah,
which is fine by me.
I did not know that. I thought you were living. I didn't know you had a roommate. I just didn't. There wasn't any like evidence when I was there. I'm like.
Well, there isn't really. He's not here that often.
Where's the evidence, man?
Tucked away in the very back.
This is so weird. I'm just like praying that the power doesn't go out, because the house I live in like one of these old ass houses in Long Beach, and it's divided into like, I want to say like 6 different units. So, and it's just owned by property companies. Like no one in my neighborhood actually owns a house because everyone is poor. So it pretty much like I'll be doing some sort of shit on my computer, and then like pop, like the fucking, I don't know if it's a circuit breaker or what, but the power just goes out of nowhere. So right now I'm like, okay, we're talking, we're going. We've been going for 13 minutes, and yeah, it's working. I think it's working. I don't know, bro.
Power doesn't go out.
I don't know, bro. It's working. So you're a Midwest dude. Tell me how you made it to New Orleans, and I want to pick your brain a little bit about the Hurricane Katrina thing, because I remember you said that you stayed in New Orleans while that shit happened. I'd like, if you're comfortable talking about that, I want to hear.
Sure.
Like, how did you become a New Orleans dude?
I was living in North Carolina, and my like childhood friend. A bunch of goofy shit, but like in a similar sort of a Fresh Prince kind of thing, where it's like, oh, you're getting into trouble here, so you're like, we're gonna send you down there to like your sister. But like New Orleans isn't like where you go to like not get into trouble.
Right.
Regardless of which, he moved down here, and then like 3 months later, like he's like, hey man, what are you doing? He's like, I don't know, nothing. He's like, well, you should come do nothing here because it's pretty easy. And then I did, and then
what year was that?
That was like a year before Katrina.
So what year was that?
That was 2003.
03. Okay, how old were you?
Right? No, that's 04. Katrina was 05.
Okay.
Yeah. yeah.
Were you like early 20s? Because I think I was like early
I was
20s.
20 years old when I moved here.
Okay, so I'm a little bit older than you, but okay, cool. Yeah, it's like yeah.
I turned 21 on a bar. Like I woke up on a bar table.
When I had my 21st birthday, I ate a bunch of mushrooms and we played a gig at the Shelter in Detroit, which is the iconic, basement club that was represented in the 8 Mile movie. But I remember it was the first gig we ever got there, so to me it was some like big rock star shit. I'm like, dude, we fucking made it. We're playing the Shelter. When it's a 400 capacity basement venue of a bigger venue in Detroit, but there's like, it's a legendary place. I used to see the first punk show I ever saw was there. So I remember when I turned 21 and we played the Shelter, it was like so exciting. It was.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, but it's weird. You get to a point where you play enough gigs and you perform long enough, and then you start touring and you start seeing the country, and that excitement kind of wears off a little bit. It becomes like, okay, this is a grind. This is a thing I do. But I think
but it's also still really fun. Although I don't know, you tour way more than I do, and I haven't toured in a minute. But
it gets a little taxing, especially when your body starts breaking down. When I started having like real back issues and, back, neck, and fucking knee, like my body just beat up. I got in car accidents. I played sports in high school. I'm fucking, I used to like load trucks for UPS, and I worked for a catering company where I just loaded and unloaded. And I just was like, my vessel is going to last forever. I'm just going to just fucking lift heavy things my whole life because I can do it. And then next thing I know, I'm like, ow. Like the doctor's like, you have bulging discs and that makes it harder. That makes the traveling aspect and sleeping on people's floors a little harder, especially when you're like pushing 40,
I mean, I can do that, but I don't know. I sleep on a couch now.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I get the best sleep on a couch, a stranger's couch. It's a weird thing.
It's there's something comforting about it.
There's something comforting about pillowy cushions. But okay, so I thought like there's a part of me that thought you were from Minneapolis, but that's Adam.
No, that's Adam.
Okay, so you came from North Carolina.
Yeah.
20 years old. New Orleans. And when you landed, how long did it take before you found a group? Did you play solo or?
Well, so it's pretty weird. I like immediately fell in with a group of dudes, one of which is still like I play music with now. He's a bass player for Blind Texas Marlin.
Yeah. What's homie's name?
It was Mark Lemaire.
Okay. I've met him.
Yeah. Yeah. He's from Grand Haven or whatever up in Michigan.
Ooh. Michigan boy. Michigan boy.
Mark. Yeah, so my friend, right across the street from where we lived, there was a bar called Hobnobbers, and they had like a Saturday weekly, and I kind of just immediately got in with them because they were friends with people I knew. And so I started playing almost immediately when I got here, but then playing before Katrina was really weird. It was not like playing now. It was like on the weird shit of like playing in the corners of bars and stuff.
Yeah.
It was it's kind of stupid, but it's also a little romantic, in the old timey sense of like moving to New Orleans and playing guitar in a corner and singing old timey songs.
Yeah. Did you know like a lot of old timey covers and whatnot before you came down there? Were you like, did you have a stake in the music that emerged from that geographical location?
Yeah. I did a great deal.
Did they have did they have to do with you choosing to go there? The fact that you wanted to be a part of that?
It helped that, but the main reason I ended up in New Orleans is because my friend was here, and it was an opportunity to just leave where I was. Like, it's like, what? All right, cool, fuck it, I'm gonna go do this. My first attempt to leave home failed.
Was the cost of in like 2004? The cost of living in New Orleans had to have been like comparable to Detroit, like pretty.
I mean, it was mad cheap. Even like right after Katrina, my first apartment was a 2-room apartment with a kitchen and a bathroom, and it cost $200. And it's like in a very nice part. It was like right in the Lower Garden District, where like that apartment now is easily like $1,000.
So the gentrification thing is happening in parts of New Orleans, has been happening.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like it's expensive to live here now, depending on what you want to do.
Yeah. So
Um,
it's not like no man's land, like freaky
nah,
weird art, because yeah, that happened a lot in like Midtown Detroit, Corktown. It all got bought up by these billionaire developers, and they just dumped a ton of money into making it nice for white people, and then everyone else got pushed out to the outskirts of shittier parts of town, and they used to call Midtown Cass Corridor in Detroit, where you could literally just fucking live for dirt cheap, and people were afraid to. I mean, we had all these shows down there, so we were always down there, and I had an ex-girlfriend that lived down there, so I was like always Midtown Cass Corridor, going to the old Miami, you know what I mean. And then now you go down there, there's all these fancy yoga studios, and there's fucking a 3-story Buffalo Wild Wings, and fucking the streets are all nice, and there's like 14 fucking places for sports to happen. There's all these arenas. Kid Rock has his own restaurant on fucking Woodward. It's something else, man. It's like Birmingham.
I was up there last year. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, you were there last year?
Yeah, I was up there last summer, maybe around this time. Yeah, actually. It was the first time I got to go travel around the country that I wasn't on tour, so I could actually like go places and like be in places for more than like 24 hours.
Isn't that nice?
It was pretty bitchin'.
Yeah.
It's been nice to like. Actually, it's been like been the past 2 or 3 times I've like left town for a month and just like gone places for like a few days. It's like, hey, sick, like that shit where it's always like you show up to town, it's like, man, I'd really wish you guys were here for a day. I'd love to take you here. They're like, yeah, that's not gonna happen, and you're only gonna see me if you come to the show because I gotta leave. It's tight to like go like spend time.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate because the last time we were in New Orleans, my band was on tour. My bass player was like, dude, I want to spend an extra day there. And then his girlfriend at the time flew out and they got an Airbnb. So we had 2 days to kick it. And
yeah.
But so it was nice. Like you and I kicked it, and then my sax player Kevin was with us. But what was weird is I was so stressed out from that tour because we had gotten arrested like earlier on in the tour. And
really, I don't remember that.
I didn't tell you that, dude.
I don't think so. I feel like I'd have remembered that.
We got fucking popped in Utah, bro.
We talked about girls a bunch and like female dramas.
Oh yeah, that
was a
luckily
heavy subject at the moment.
Yeah, I remember we talked about females ingesting Xanax.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the heavy shit.
But yeah, so I was just in a very bad place mentally because I had just bailed one of my band members out of jail, and it cost fucking $8,000.
Utah?
In Utah, it cost $8,000. I had a credit card. Are you still there? Okay, cool. I thought maybe there was some freezing going. Yeah, but that shit. So
what did you get arrested? What did he get arrested for in Utah?
We were driving on the highway, and Phil, you met Phil, the drummer.
Yeah.
He was driving the van because we were pulling an all-nighter driving. We were driving all the way from Vegas to fucking Colorado. And so Phil was driving, and it was like early afternoon, and I think Phil might have been going a little bit fast, but I want to assume that he was profiled for the color of his skin. That had something to do with it. Driving on the 40 in Utah, African-American gentleman. In a van with no windows. Yeah, and even though we got a little Jesus fish, the little silver Jesus.
Have that.
Yeah, and in my mind, I'm like, all right, we're like, this will deter the
we
fuzz.
Have to like donate it to like the local sheriff's office stickers on our van.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know folks that do that shit too, but that shit didn't work. They pulled us over, and we were smoking blunts inside the van, so they had probable cause from the get. It reeked. We had been driving all night. We're all haggard and just looking disheveled as shit. We looked like a bunch of scumbags, and yeah, we were carrying illegal contraband, and I got a ticket, and then one of my other band members, straight up, he had a whole slew of illegal stuff on him, and he was taken to jail, and it was about an hour from where we got popped. We had to drive like the opposite direction to the courthouse, and I had to get a bail bonds dude. And I luckily for me, I have a pretty decent credit score, and I had this credit card, so I had to fucking bail homeboy out. It cost $8,000. The bond was $8,000. Luckily, I got it back, but like, I didn't get that. I didn't get the bondsman took his percentage out. I didn't get that back, and I didn't get any of the interest back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah, well.
So that whole trip, I was just fucking tripping because I'm like, this is the worst tour ever. I'm like, the second day into the tour, I was fucking $8,000 in the hole, bro.
Nah, I can feel that.
Oh God, I was so pissed. But we're like homeboy and I are friends now. We're all good. He paid me the money he owed me, and I got most of the bond back. So it's it makes the whole watching Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. It makes it like it kind of hits a little closer to home when you actually get arrested for some shit that's worse than weed. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So, okay, so it was romantic. You had an appreciation for the New Orleans music. Now you're living there, and this is 04, and then 05 hits. You know, you're somewhat accustomed to life in the city, and then what happened?
And then Katrina happened. And I don't know. That's a whole big weird thing, you know.
Go into it, man. I really, you haven't told me this story since we fucking met you. Come on, bruh.
All right. So, well, like when it happened, like, no, I didn't, me and my friends, I was like young at the time. I was 21, 22 or something. So we ended up staying just because it's like, I grew up in North Carolina going through her. Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Hold up.
Uh-oh.
I hear you. It's still good. We're working it out.
I can hear you. Can't see you.
I got it. We're back. I had the phone propped up, so I don't have to fucking hold it because it got the goofy fucking. Anyways, what was it, Sam? Oh yeah,
you were young.
So we ended up staying. Yeah, we were young. Me and my roommate at the time decided we were gonna stay. And we ended up being able to stay in this apartment building in the CBD, which is the only kind of like city part. That's where like the tall buildings are, you know, where it looks like an actual city.
Now is New Orleans, is it New Orleans or New Orleans? Like, what? How should I say it correctly?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Honest to me.
The whole city is under sea level, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so there's a levee.
Yeah, it's a bowl.
It's a bowl. Okay. That's crazy. Why would anyone build a city under sea level?
Well, it's pretty tight. So, you know.
It's pretty tight.
I don't know. That's where you can get away with stuff because it gets washed away every now and then.
That's insanity. So
it is.
The CBD,
the Central Business District.
Okay.
I knew this lady at the time. She's just a good friend of mine. She lived in this fucking crazy like condo building. So we ended up staying in there, and it was like, we're fine. We're in the middle of a cement building. Nothing is going to happen to us. Like, and the storm, essentially nothing happened until the levees broke, which was afterwards. And then that was kind of nuts. That's when things started filling up with water. And me and my friends went around and gathered things, you know, realized like people didn't steal rice and people didn't take Jägermeister. And they didn't take like Winston cigarettes.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah, there's like some specific things that didn't get stolen.
So
we looted the fuck out of those.
So when you were grabbing this shit, the levee had already broken, shit was filled up with water, and you would just loot. You just
well, yeah. I mean, we weren't like looting. We were actually trying to get things that we were gonna need, like
right.
Because in our brands, even like we were like, yo, we've got enough like light beer. Like we had like Keystone Light for days. Like Or like, you know, if need be, like use this to flush the toilet instead of drinking water kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if it came to that noise.
So were there like stores that had the windows busted out that you could just like
Yeah,
pop
yeah.
in?
Oh, there were like people running around. You know, it was lit, as they say.
Now in a like a riot type situation like that,
Uh,
is everyone just kind of like trying to survive, like they're not really concerned with what other people are doing? Like did you feel like there was like
I mean, where I was around there, because I was like downtown, and there was a bit more of like police presence, because like where I was like 1 or 2 blocks off of Canal Street,
mm-hmm.
like right near the quarter. Like there's a lot there.
Yeah.
So there was still a lot going on. People were going in and out of places, but you know, I don't know. There was gunshots from time to time.
But do you feel like people were more concerned with surviving than like doing violent shit towards each other?
At the time, people were not so much. I don't know, because at the same time there were tons of fucking. The whole city erupted in weird ways. Where I was, there wasn't so much of that, but there was in other parts of the city where people like just kind of went crazy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there was at one point in time, you know, people shooting at helicopters and stuff like that. Like,
that's crazy.
It's a really bizarre situation.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that I did not have to like be in some of the thick of that. Like my experiences are nowhere near as bad as a great many of other people's, and I'm pretty thankful for that.
Now, was the water level like really high where you were staying?
Where I was, it would get like between like your knees and like your hips. You know what I mean? At least for me, you and I are kind of like the same height, so
yeah,
you know, you can imagine.
Now, how did you like? Did you just
Wrap
wade
yourself in garbage bags?
Okay. Would you just wade through the water when you were trying to get places?
Yeah, you just kind of like, you know, we did our best to try to put like homemade like garter shit on, like strapped ourselves up with industrial garbage bags and duct tape, which doesn't work. Like eventually their water gets in it and it's just like it's real boggy.
Oh man.
But yeah, you just kind of like roll through the water and grab stuff and try not to like, I don't know. We were trying to stay away from other people and do completely our own thing and like not interact. Like, if there were people in places where we're like, all right, we're just gonna come back to this. Like, I don't want to. Because I don't know. There were people at times that would get defensive. You know, it's like who are desperate. You know, just like I was in here first and shit. You know.
Yeah. So you
just don't take. It's all mine.
Oh shit! So you just avoided people, kept to yourself.
Yeah. And that was for a minute, and then we were there. I don't really know, like, at a point, time like really went like away, because like you would just kind of like take a nap and wake up and be like, oh shit, this is still happening. Like, wow.
Would you say there was any similarities between what's happening now and that same feeling?
No, because like. It's not. No, I don't feel it's in anywhere the same. There's nobody's shooting at helicopters. There's not even a need for there to be food dropped to the city. It's not anywhere close to that insane. You know, this is like planned. You know, this went down. I mean, planned.
Planned. Yes, it was planned according to some allegedly.
No, I wouldn't compare this to Katrina. Like that was like crazy natural disaster, like all in one swoop. Like if there were people that just didn't have a chance, so to speak, and it's like that's like I don't know. I wouldn't compare them. No.
Right. Weird. It's a weird question. I'm just wondering. Like, it was more so targeted towards like waking up and being like, oh, this shit's still happening. When you said that, I'm like, oh, that kind of feels like this a little bit, but
it does. But like now, like my life hasn't been nearly as affected by this. Like I'm a freelance fucking artist. Like I wake up and I cook myself breakfast and I watch Ren and Stimpy, and you know I get happy on the couch, and then I play with my crayons or my guitar, or I go back to bed. Like that's what I do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So like. it doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel quite as effective as like, oh, it's fucked. Like I have to ride my bike out of a city now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Now, the place you were staying at, was that like a floor level domicile, or was it?
no, I was on the 8th floor. I
Oh,
think.
okay. So
like-
you were dry. You just had to get wet if you were gonna go anywhere.
Yeah,
That's fucking crazy.
it was a pretty crazy place.
And how long did it take before the water like lowered? You know?
Well, it did its kind of weird thing, but like, so I left town before the water went down.
Okay.
Me and my friend Brian rode our bikes to Gonzales, Louisiana, and then got picked up and went to Chicago.
Oh, holy shit. Okay. So you stayed, but then you left.
Yeah, well, because it was starting to get like, after it was like, a day or so into it, things got kind of weird then, like there was like heavy armed police in the streets, like military was out, people with like serious guns and vests, and like it was on some apocalypse shit.
So was it martial law? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would call it. I don't really remember any of the terms. I just remember being out and just like, yo, this is fucked. And like before they like, say like, you're doing this, because like they were almost starting then to like put people onto like helicopters and in fucking like, buses and shit, and just like, you gotta go, and like that's, people got kind of separated and shit at that point.
Yeah.
It was just like, you had no choice. Like, all right, it's time to get everybody the fuck out. You gotta go. And then all that shit was happening in the dome. Like, it was a crazy period of time. So me and Brian were like, yo, we're, young and strong. Let's go.
You rode your bike out of the city.
Yeah. We loaded up and rode out. And then we got, along the way, like the best shit, we got, both of the big helps were from some construction workers. Like the first night, they lent us some cots, and we slept in between their work trucks. We bartered with that stolen Jägermeister.
That's a hot commodity. Fucking stolen Jaeger.
Well, they were vastly amused to see just like two dingy fucking dumbass kids on bikes like pull up. I had a banjo strapped to my back. It's pretty ridiculous. But that, and then when we were riding along the side of some stretch of road, and there were these dudes working to like, I think try to repair some kind of fucking gas line or something. They were working to do some shit out there, but they were also cooking food on the hood of their car, like with the hood popped up, like on the engines. And we stopped to see if we could get some like refills for our water bottles. And those dudes took pity on us and drove us to their headquarters. And that's when we got to use phones. And that's how we wound up getting picked up there and taken to Chicago.
That's fucking crazy.
Pretty nuts, man.
So, when did you come back to the city? How long did you wait?
We came back as soon as we could, which was like around that Halloween, that October.
So how many months had gone by since the disaster?
I think like it was like 3 months later.
Okay.
I don't know, that whole period of time is fuzzy. Like when I got into Chicago, I got like FEMA money and I was still young, and essentially like I figured like, all right, I just like everything I have is gone now. Fuck it. And it just like partied with like a good group of friends of mine. Because I was lucky, like the people that I had first started playing with in New Orleans were from the suburbs of Chicago.
Okay.
And so when I went up there was already like a little group of people that I knew and musicians that I knew. So we were just like fucking rode around and partied. It was pretty tight.
What suburb?
Downers Grove.
Okay, I know where that is.
That's where Denise Richards is from.
Yo. Didn't she marry Charlie Sheen?
For a while.
For a minute.
Yeah, dude.
What was that movie? Wild Things?
Yeah, it's actually right there on my wall.
VHS.
Yep.
Yeah, Nev Campbell. Who's the bad guy that he met?
Well, there's Matt Damon and Kevin Bacon are in it.
It wasn't Matt Damon. It was Matt, the guy.
Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon. Yeah. Kevin Bacon's. Oh yeah, Kevin Bacon is in it. He's like the cop, and then it gets all sexy. It's just so. The whole movie's just so sexy. It's just too much sex.
Yeah, it's in my erotic thriller pile.
Nice. You have a whole pile.
Well, you got a section.
So you came back and did you just say goodbye to your belongings? Like, were you just like, okay, I got what's on my back and that's it?
Yeah, for the most part. We were lucky we came back, like our apartment had kind of been fucked with, but we were able to move back into the same spot.
Oh, wow.
But I don't know. There wasn't like shit had been in there for a minute, and we were kind of like, I don't know if like there's what's been growing on it or living on it. Everybody's refrigerator was super gnarly. But yeah, for the most part. But at the same time, like as soon as you move back, like it was so nuts because the city, like there was so much going on for there to be so few people.
Yeah.
When I moved back, I started working at this place, Nacho Mama's, which was one of the first restaurants that was open after the city. Our first restaurants opened after the city opened back up. And so just like construction workers and like people that were here like working to put the city back together, like that was a place they would go, and they would put in orders for like 60 burritos at once. Every time, so it was like, boom, it's like 8 o'clock and you just have to close the restaurant because you were just out of food.
Wow.
But because of that, like everybody was just making a lot of money. Like people were super nice. Like my boss would like, yo, we sold more today than we ever did. And he just like walk through the kitchen and give everybody $100.
Nice.
It's like people were making money hands over fist. If you were like open then, like in the first fucking year that after the storm, like your business did pretty well. Like I know everybody I know that worked in the service industry that at that period of time reveres it as like this crazy, just like a gold rush. Like, whoa! Like, you made a lot of money then. Like, most of us regret that we just were like, thought it would never end.
Yeah.
Because
just like,
only a handful of us were smart and used that money to like buy a house or something. Most of us just like, I don't know. It's not that we regret it, but like most of us, like, I don't know. I saved that money to go on my first tour and like, enjoy myself a lot because I was the first time like it's, I was 23 years old and I had like $1,000 and was still making money. Like, fuck yeah.
I did that recently in 2017 when my dad died. I got a small inheritance and I didn't work and I just spent it all trying to fucking do this California thing. And so the money ran out real quick. And then next thing I know, I was spending money I didn't have. And then there was interest on that. So, 2017, I pretty much dug a hole for myself. It was my least financially responsible year. And I just was a sad boy, I'm just like, all right, I want, I have this credit card. I'll get what I want things. And I'm trying not to. Yeah. It was stupid. But, you got to fall flat in your face to figure out what the fuck is going on.
That is true. And also, it's fun for a minute.
I'm just like, I'm not like, I remember my roommate in Long Beach was like, he's like, are you going to get a job? And I'm just like, no, I'm going to make it as a musician in LA. It's just like, it's hard to be like, especially moving out here, like my band in the Midwest has value. We can play a show and people are going to come out. And so we actually like make a tiny bit of money. But out here, it's like, my shithead doesn't have a whole lot of value. It's just reality. So what it comes down to is I could be playing once a week around LA and be just doing it for fun, essentially. And that was the weirdest part about doing that. My first like live stream show is I'm like, holy shit. Like I made more money acting like an idiot on the internet than I do if I actually load up my van with a bunch of shit, drive to a place in Southern California and like sweat my ass off. And, I'm there for 6 or 7 hours. you know. But I enjoy that so much. I really like performing in front of people. So.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you on that. I love playing live. It's a good thing.
So it's weird.
I
You can make money in your fucking living room, but it's oddly less satisfying than actually like staring people in the face and making dumb faces at them, you know?
It's more work for me to do it in my room.
Is it?
Yeah, it just, well, one, I feel like I need to do something, so I set up all this goofy shit. And then like, I don't know, it doesn't have any like there's no like without the interaction or whether you know like even just see people's faces and stuff where like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel almost feels like a shtick on the thing where it's like, oh, I'm just doing it again. Da-na-na-na-na-na.
It's strange.
Like,
there's like a lack of energy exchange because I feel like if an audience is really feeling your shit, it makes you like put your it makes you fucking go a little bit balls deeper, you know.
Yeah, dude, your chest swells up a little bit and you're like, hell yeah, this is rocking.
But it's weird because when you're doing a shit online, the song ends and people are commenting and whatnot, and some people are donating or whatever. But it just doesn't. You're not like, oh, I need to fucking go harder. So what I realized last week is I just need to go longer because we were trying to like hit this goal for this donation goal or whatever because it's a monthly thing. I'm doing like the kind of Twitch streaming kind of setup.
Okay.
And we weren't close to the goal, so I'm like, I like dragged my girlfriend into the stream, and I'm like, play some music, because she plays and sings, and she's funny, and so I dragged her in, and then I just kept going. I ended up going for 2.5 hours, because
that's what happens to me.
I don't play shows that long, dude. I'm off in an hour. I'm like, all right, that's enough. So I was very sweaty.
Well, I'm used to playing solo shows, and I play for that long sometimes.
So, what do you think about live music coming back?
Man, I don't know how anything is going to work with the world coming back, just because I don't really, I don't think anybody understands what the fuck this thing does or what's going on to the person, and I don't know. I saw a bunch of people outside the other day, so I don't.
It's wild. My girlfriend and I go for bike rides in Long Beach, and people just straight up are like running and working out and not wearing masks. And I'm just like, okay, so it's confusing because you're told all this shit and all this protocol, and you see that people are getting sick and dying, but then you see this contingency of people that just don't give a fuck about anyone else. And you're like, and then you start to think, you're like, what is actually going on? And then I talked to my brother that works at a hospital. He's like, they don't know how to fix this. Like the ones, the geniuses, the ones who are going to be making the fucking antidote to this problem, they don't know how. So we're just like, okay, well, like this thing is just around now, and we just have to live our lives accordingly. And
yeah, but with that, let's see, the conversation of music coming back is the same thing with New Orleans, talking about so many people work in service industry, especially bars and everything, that where volume is how you make money.
Yeah.
And if it's going to be these things where only so many people can be in a place at one point in time and shit like that, nobody's going to be able to make a living doing it,
or be able to keep their fucking places open.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Selling booze is cheap in New Orleans, man. You buy one cocktail, you paying for a good amount of the case.
That makes sense.
But it's just in general, you're not going to be able to. People are not going to want to pay a band a certain amount of money to play a show when they can only sell so many drinks because there's only so many people that are allowed to be at the gig.
Yeah.
There's so many factors just in all parts of that, of how social businesses, I don't know, music is service industry to me at this point in time.
Well, yeah, you're providing entertainment, you're
so all of that, I make my money off of tips. That's service industry.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it'll work. If it can't work if you can only if it's a limited amount of people. If there's a cap on how many cats can come through the door.
Yeah, we got gigs in July scheduled in Texas where Downtown Brown is HR from Bad Brains. We're his backing band, and then we open up the gigs. It's something we started doing last year.
That's
So
tight.
So I'm kind of like in HR's band in a weird way. But what's weird? Okay, so HR needs X amount of dollars to go do a gig, and if there is capacity caps on all these venues, there's no way he's gonna be able to get that money that it's gonna take for him to be worth it for him to fly out from Philadelphia. And on top of it, he's a 64-year-old man with, he's in good health, but I mean he's definitely like he's at risk. So what, the promoter's gonna be like, yeah, we'll still pay you X amount of dollars for a venue that can only hold 25 people at a time, and then you can like potentially get this disease by flying out to do a gig. It's like I just don't foresee that happening. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Right. When are the gigs?
In July, but still, it's like,
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's gonna just go away by July.
no, fuck no. if over 1 million people have contracted it, and that's just who they've been able to test. Like, I don't know how, like, I don't even know how a dude like me would get tested for coronavirus. I
don't know. It's not that hard around here. I might go do it in the next few days.
Yeah, I'm like, if I have a little thermometer, if I become symptomatic and I get really sick, then I'll go get tested. But if I'm just like farting around, sweating and smelling bad, and I'm not like wheezing or like having any lung issues or a cough or a fever, then I'm just going to chill and not like get tested, because I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna cost me money, and I don't have any money right now.
Oh, I don't think I'm pretty sure they have free testing here.
Oh, for real? I don't know. I also not really aware of what's going on around me because I've been in this weird little bubble.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think they should be charging people for these tests, right?
I don't think so either.
Something.
I think everyone.
Are they charging people for them?
I was watching some podcasts and they said it was like $200.
What? No.
Yeah,
that can't be a thing.
But this is the thing too, is all I know about what's going on is what I see on the internet, and there's so much contradictory information. I'm just like, okay, so what? I don't know who is reputable, and frankly, I don't want to immerse myself in the fucking all of this information, because it's just gonna make me fucking anxious and confused. So all I've been doing, I bought this looper machine. And I'm just gonna make fart beatbox noises, and I'm gonna play my guitar over my fart noises. So
that's cool.
I don't know, dude. Yeah, until I need to get tested, I'm not gonna worry about getting tested. I'm just gonna.
I've had like a weird fucking like stomach fuck up thing recently, and it's been kind of there for a second. And I don't know if it's free testing and I can just go ride my bike to go do it. I don't see any reason not to.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's free, I mean, I'll go,
and
but
peace of mind.
Hi.
So.
That's Allie.
Oh, hello.
She said, "Oh, what's up?"
The lights changed.
Yeah, that's daylight. We're gonna if we're able to travel and some shit, we're gonna come visit New Orleans. It was on our list. It's pretty cheap to fly there from LA too.
That's what's up.
But I mean,
yeah, it actually is.
But things have to return to some state of normalcy before I'm gonna get in a big tube with like 200 people.
Yeah, that's totally sane, man. That makes a lot of sense.
A viral tube. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm super curious about the whole thing. Oh, fuck, I don't know.
I'm curious too. I'm curious, but I don't know who to believe. So I just kind of talk to my brother from time to time, and I have some smart friends that are like news junkies, and they're able to like sift through the bullshit. And I have one friend in Buffalo, New York, that's really smart. What is this? Ooh. She brings me the tail end of her coffee,
The tail end day.
Yeah, the tail end every morning because I have my own sources of caffeine. This is just something I like to taste.
I feel that.
It's really sugary, but it's not actual sugar. It's stevia. So.
Okay, sorry, I keep walking back and forth. I'm done now.
You're ruining the stream. She's cool.
It's cool.
She's nice to me.
All that matters.
We've been rewatching Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, which actually,
Never
like,
watched it.
in comparison to Better Call Saul, it's actually like kind of poorly written. And I know people are gonna throw stones at me for saying that, but the TV show Better Call Saul is pretty. It's like a precursor.
Yeah, I saw like seasons 1 and 2 of that, but I've never seen Breaking Bad.
I enjoy Better Call Saul better. I like Bob Odenkirk, Mr. Show. Like, are you a Bob Odenkirk guy?
Yeah, I'm a Mr. Showboy.
Yeah. I always enjoyed Bob Odenkirk, but he actually is a really good dramatic actor in all the Better Call Saul seasons.
Yeah. I think it's funny though, just how much they used to make fun of like dramatic actors.
Yeah. We did this benefit in some backyard in LA, and we were playing with HR, and we're chilling in this backyard, and it's some rich person's house. They had like a stage set up like on this cobblestone shit, and there was all these vendors, and there was like an auction. Everyone was selling like overpriced shit to raise money. It was one of those hoity-toity, like, let's go to the fundraiser. They have they have people dressed up like Star Wars characters in this backyard, and so we're playing with HR, and I look over and there's like Moby looking at us while we're playing. I'm like, oh, that's Moby, and then like I'm walking around, Fred Armisen is there. And but the moment I really was like, holy shit, was I look over to my left and there's fucking Bob Odenkirk like rocking out to Fred Armisen on the drums. Like there was like some all-star band. It was the dude from No Doubt, the bass player from No Doubt, and Moby on guitar, Fred Armisen on the drums, and they're playing. And I look over and Bob Odenkirk's like nodding his head. He's like, yeah, man. He's like feeling it. I'm like, it's fucking Saul Goodman. And but I didn't say anything to him. I ate an edible. I was stoned. I just looked at him, just stared at him. So that's the type of shit that happens around here.
I had William Hurt watch me play guitar outside of a wine shop one time.
I like William Hurt was in Altered States, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Is he still alive?
As far as I know.
Okay. I like Altered States. I don't know, what other movie was he in?
Dark City. He was in a bunch of dramatic nonsense. It's really bad.
William Hurt. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't get like starstruck, really. But when I met Henry Rollins, I was nervous because I was really drunk, and he was on stage doing his spoken word thing, and he was going off about how pretty much like if you're gonna make it doing anything, you can't be a drunk piece of shit. And I'm sitting in the audience, and I was like, I had like gotten drunk and like drove there with my friend. I drove like 30 minutes outside of where I lived to like go to Ann Arbor to see Henry Rollins, and I'm loaded, and he's pretty much like, he might as well have been just like pointing at me like, you need to get your shit together. But he was just telling this anecdote about how he was at a party and some drunk dude in the entertainment industry was trying to talk to him and how embarrassing it was. But because I used to get sloppy drunk, but I thought it was funny. I like waited outside and met Henry Rollins. I'm just like, and I gave him like a little I gave him a Downtown Brown like printout because I had this backpack and this folder on me. I didn't have anything for him to sign, so he signed the little logo. You know the logo where the guy's eating his fist.
Yeah.
Yeah, he signed a piece of paper with that logo on it. It just said, "Thanks, Henry Rollins." I was riding my bike on Sunset Boulevard when I used to live in West Hollywood, and I rode my bike like right by Henry Rollins as he was walking into some restaurant. And I didn't stop or anything, but the part of me wanted to and been like, your spoken word made me realize I had a drinking problem. It was part of the like puzzle that made me realize I drank too much. Pissing myself and shitting the bed and stuff like that helped too.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I just rode my bike by Henry Rollins, and he was speaking passionately to someone, and I just kept riding. I'm like, that was Henry Rollins, and that was it. That type of shit happens around here. But if you're like on the fucking low level of importance, you can like see celebrities at some function you're playing, but it doesn't mean you can approach them or pitch them, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that shit makes me. There's even there's even signs that I saw this online where it says you can't ask anyone at this function to be on your podcast. like that sign was posted outside at some celebrity event. Like, you're just not allowed to. Because imagine being a celebrity and everywhere you go, someone's asking you to be on their podcast. I mean, I do it. I have guests on my shit, and it's weird because I'm just like, hey, would you? I had some, the dude from Green Jelly sat in my van and I interviewed him. That was pretty fun. You Green Jelly guy?
I mean, I'm not a huge one. I did find
When you were younger? Were you
pardon?
when you were younger, were you at least amused by the Green Jelly shit?
Yes, naturally.
Yeah. Naturally.
I was upset. I was at a thrift store and I found forget what it was. I think it was a copy of like Prom Night, but inside of it had, I think actually it might be right here. Had a Green Jelly like catalog from inside of a cassette.
Oh, nice.
It's not in there. And so I frantically was like, hoping like, this has got to be part of these, got to be the same person's collection. Just like he put the Green Jelly thing in a wrong thing. So I'm just like frantically looking for this Green Jelly fucking tape and did not find. It made me sad.
What was cool about the Green Jelly podcast is the dude, he just outlined like his whole story. I just pretty much sat there and he talked, and it was amazing because he pitched Green Jelly and got a big money record deal from Zoo Records just from pitching the guy. He didn't even listen to the music. And then they threw a party and his buddies had this band and they got fucking signed from homeboy showing up at the party. And that band was fucking Tool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because he's like, I'm going to throw a party and you guys are going to play and you'll get signed too. And that band was fucking Tool, dude.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting, dude. A really fucking interesting guy too. But that happened, yeah. Green Jelly. Hey. I'm going to make a smoothie later.
Yeah?
Yes, I am.
I don't know what I'm going to do later.
So you're doing the live streams from your living room.
I got one tomorrow.
And you are projecting. I think I saw like one of the recent ones. You projected like all of these like old home movies behind you.
One of the last ones I did was I showed a bunch of the stuff that I filmed when I was like 18.
Okay. Vintage. Yeah, I've been going through a lot of vintage stuff too. I just ripped all these old DVDs of Downtown Brown stuff from like 2006.
Nice.
And I was like 250 pounds and just some cringy stuff, I was saying a lot of dumb shit, but it's fun to look back at who you used to be.
Oh, I feel that.
Oh, speaking of 250 pounds, what is Fat Kids?
What do you mean?
Like, that's your like art brand, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
I know, probably like want to stray away from using words like brand, but
I don't know. It's just what like it started as just like a goofy thing to do. It's sort of like absurdist, whatever. Fat Kids from Outer Space. When I was writing graffiti, and then I just stuck with it instead of like continuing to like use like whatever my graffiti name was. I just started writing Fat Kids on stuff because it made sense to me. It still makes sense to me in whatever way. And that's what it is now. And it's also I generally don't put my real name on anything.
I like that.
Sort of easy. I don't know why.
Because I remember we were on tour and you gave me these little stickers, and I think I still have some of them. And they just say Fat Kids on them. There's like a little hot dog. There's this little logo.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what's this? You're like, it's Fat Kids. And I'm like, what's that? He's like, you're like, it's Fat Kids. And I'm just like, okay. And then I put those stickers, like they were real little. They were
like little like 2x1s.
Yep. And I put them all over all types of things. And I grew up a fat kid, so just the name itself spoke to me. I didn't know what it was.
You and me both.
Oh yeah, you're a little chubby guy.
Yeah, dude.
Coming up.
Yeah, dude. I think might be a picture of it right around here somewhere.
Did you catch shit when you were growing up? Did kids make fun of you and shit?
Yeah, from time to time. So here's a really, really funny one though about it. So I grew up, North Carolina, and I had like an agricultural class in high school, which would require every now and then like everybody to get like into a pickup truck and like go like half a mile to like some plot of land. We like pretended to do agriculture shit, but really just the teacher was cool with everybody smoking cigarettes and talking shit and just pretended to look at the trees.
Yeah.
But while we were doing it, we were riding back and we were just like, I was sitting in the back of the pickup truck and we were all like sitting up, on the, it's not rails, but like on the lip, like not in the bed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Because we were just going real slow down this fucking little dirt road. It wasn't a big deal. But we out of nowhere like hit this bump and I went up and I came back down and I like fucking dented his truck. Like I took it in with it. And I'm like, oh man, like motherfuckers, like in my brain, it's like, man, people are going to call me fucking badass and shit like that. No. In the world of rednecks, it is not about the fat kid. It's about your pussy truck. And he got reamed for having a truck that couldn't withstand that impact.
Yeah.
And I found it very amusing.
That's fucking funny. So are you talking about the, like, is it the actual lip on the end of the truck that like folds down? Were you sitting on that, or were you sitting on like the utility lip that was like near where the bed meets the actual truck part?
Like, if that's the bed of the truck, like
Yeah.
you're sitting right here where like the wheels would be right there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like right there. Like that would be like where the folds down.
Oh man, I have a lot of fat kid stories. The one I like to tell on the podcast the most is in middle school, the group of dudes I hung out with, they were sort of friends with me, and we would like sort of hang out, but they also like made fun of me like a shitload, and it really pissed me off. And they would call me breast boy because I hadn't hit puberty yet. I hadn't like gotten tall, and I was like, I had tits. Still kind of do. But to have that nickname breast boy, that was like fucking terrible. The shit made
Sounds
me
like the John Waters shit.
It made me super self-conscious, and I remember, but the cool part about all that is I joined the football team sophomore year of high school. And I remember one of the kids that used to make fun of me the most, he was a smaller guy. And this is, it's a little petty, but I got to legally kick the shit out of this guy every day when I was a sophomore in high school. And I still remember all of the things he said. I remember I said, hey, are you going to eat that roll? And we were they had these rolls at the lunch table in middle school, and they were really good. I'm like, you going to eat that? And this dude looked at me, and he's like, why don't you just grab one off your stomach? And I was just like, oh God. But I was like, I always just held things in. I was used to just holding things in and not like freaking out and trying to kick kids' asses. But so it's like all of that rage and all of that fucking animosity towards this one guy, I like just got to beat him up with football pads on, and then he quit the football team. He didn't return for junior year. It was a good feeling. It was a good feeling because I didn't get in trouble for it. There wasn't an assault charge, I didn't like really hurt him, but I definitely hurt him.
Well, he signed up for it. There was a waiver signed.
He called me breast boy, bro. And then I became, I went from like maybe C cup to A cup by the time I was a senior in high school. So, but that shit sticks with you, man. And the weird part too is like I make fun of myself for looking a certain way, but what's weird is that people feel like they could just jump on the make fun of you bandwagon because you do it to yourself because you're self-deprecating.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, I'll talk shit about how I look, or talk shit about this, or I'll put myself in situations, about my hairline or my hair, or this, that, and the other thing. But when people just think that means that they can fucking weigh in on it, I like want to fight motherfuckers. But I also am like, well, I'm kind of asking for it because I point out things about myself that I'm insecure about. So it's like,
yeah, but there's no reason to reinforce them. I mean, there's no reason for you to be like, no, it's not true. But like, you don't have to like, it's not your joke.
I had some dude on Instagram be like, is that your real hair or a wig? It looks like shit. And I'm like, dude, like, I don't even know you. like I'll let my friends grill me about something like that, but it's like, dude, it's like I'm barely an acquaintance with this guy. I just fuck you. Fuck you. I'm sensitive. But I'm working on it. I think I'm a little bit more laid back about everything these days. You kind of get older and realize that not a lot matters in the scheme of things.
Yes, sir. That is truthism.
You know what matters?
What's up?
is I don't know. You close to your parents still? Are your parents still alive?
My folks are alive. I mean, we talk semi-regularly, I guess. We don't have anything. There's no animosity there. It's just, I don't know. My family's not like, we're not the most talkative bunch amongst each other, like via phone. It's not really.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you've been away from home for so long. I'm sure it just kind of, it has to be kind of hard to even recollect the life being around them.
Yeah. Well, that and like it seems also weird where a lot of times like nothing is different there. Like when he calls, like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "Well, you know what it is, same old, same old." It's like, yeah, I kind of guess I do. Like, there's nothing to really talk about.
Yeah.
You have to let a month or two go by.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like an occasional text message of like acknowledgments, like, "Hey, hope you're doing well," but like it's not talkative.
Yeah, I call my mom like pretty much every day. I'm pretty close to my mom, but it is one of those things where it's like she's in quarantine. She locked herself in the house, and it's just her and the dog. So pretty much every single day, it's just like, yeah, what's going on? Oh, just hanging out with the dog, watching the news. It's like the same conversation every single fucking day. But it makes me feel good just knowing that she's adhering to the CDC protocol, and she's not like going to the post office. She's not driving her car. She's not going to the fucking grocery store because she's got a lot.
Post office? What would she be doing at the post office?
Sending people cards and shit. I don't know. My mom. She's pretty methodical. She does stuff.
She's an active male person. I'm just curious.
Yeah, she's she sends a lot of people cards. Cards are a thing for her. She's thank you cards.
Well, it's an age group thing, I think. Some people, it's like accustomed to that. Like that's a source of thing of communication.
Yeah, I like
log emoji.
I send people thank you texts a lot, but I can't remember last time I sent someone a fucking thank you card. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
I send my aunt a happy birthday card every year. My close aunt, and we've been getting my mom lately. We've been getting her cameos because she watches fucking Days of Our Lives. So we like all these fucking soap opera actors are all on Cameo because they're trying to get that side hustle,
Yeah.
So we just been fucking buying these like suave fucking Young and the Restless actors. Like, hey Alice, I just want to let you know, I hope you have a very special day. Type shit. You know what Cameo is, right?
Yeah, I learned about it recently.
Yeah, Insane Clown Posse's on Cameo now. No. I take that back. They were on Cameo, and then they decided they're going to do their own Cameo type service so they can keep all the money and they don't have to pay the platform fee.
That sounds like them.
Yeah, and it's called customclownclips.com. And if you want fucking ICP to give you a shout out, it's like $250. I got to put that on my list of things.
Oh, that's some weird. The future is weird.
The future's now, bro.
It's a strange place.
The future's fucking now. So you're doing the live stream. Are you still going out and are you still doing street art, like through this pandemic thing?
No, I haven't really been out painting or doing anything like that. It was up for a minute where I thought I was gonna do some shit, but excuse me. I don't know. It just didn't go down. It seemed smarter, I guess, to just stay in my house. It was easier to do. Like, it's easier to stay here if I'm staying here, as opposed to like if I go out and I'm getting a taste of like my regular world. Like, I'm kind of like,
you're gonna want that more.
Maybe I'll go like, I'll paint a piece and be like, oh, well, I kind of want to go get a beer. So then I'll end up going to a corner store because after you paint all day, it's nice to get a tall boy. And you're like, oh, well, then I want to go like just kind of like click into a regular rhythm as opposed to like just being in my house. Yeah,
well, that's smart then. You stay put, and then you don't remember all the shit that you used to do when you weren't staying put. Like I drove my girlfriend's car across town, and we live in Long Beach yesterday, and I'm just like, it was so weird to me because I haven't driven a car in so fucking long. I'm just like, what is fucking happening right now? And I'm looking around and everyone's wearing masks. And I'm just like, because I only ride my bike. And when I ride my bike, I stay the fuck away from people. And,
dude.
And yeah, driving a car, because we had to go get water. And I'm like, I don't remember. And the other thing too is I live in this weird domicile in this prison, and I don't get out much, so it's hard for me to even to click that I live in fucking Long Beach, California. And I start driving around town, I'm like, oh, I'm like in fucking California. Like I forget because I literally I'm stuck. Like there are some days I don't even fucking go on a bike ride, so I'm just like oh, I'm just in this fucking, there's these walls. But yesterday I drove my car. I'm like, I'm in fucking California. It's so weird, dude.
Yeah. I like it though inside my house, luckily. Yeah. I mean, it's where I spend most of my time anyways, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, back to the whole like not living in a living room thing. It feels nice. Feels nice to have our own it feels nice to have our own space. I'm building a little streaming studio. And I'm starting to learn how to record music, and I'm doing this weird podcast thing, and I'm just trying to stay busy, bruh.
Yeah, when it started, I had gotten a mixer, and I was I keep slacking on doing it, but I'm building a recording studio using just VCRs and a mixer and recording straight to VHS tape.
Dope. The VHS thing, it's made a comeback. That the whole VHS aesthetic. There's this band that I know. They record everything on like these old ass camcorders, and they put together all this footage, and it looks, all the fucking tracking is off, and it all grainy and shit. And it's definitely like an aesthetic. It has made a resurgence. That whole look.
Well, I mean that's because everything is everything now.
It's true.
Anything you can mine as being vintage or retro is like a whole thing. Yeah, basically, our whole childhood is mad hip right now.
It's wild. The whole vaporwave thing, like there's a lot of people making music that sounds like old fucking John Carpenter movies.
Yeah.
And it's hot too. There's this dude from Detroit that our drummer Phil plays in this other band called Acid Witch. And it's a lot of like sort of like heavy metal, like, but sounds like old John Carpenter stuff and his solo stuff. And he's like, the dude is like doing well from all this like retro slasher horror music type stuff. There's an audience for it.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
People want to.
I mean, it's cool stuff. It's insane. Everything is happening all at once right now.
Like I remember when I first heard like the band Toxic Holocaust or Municipal Waste, like that whole, there was like a thrash resurgence where they just all sounded like 80s thrash bands, and that was a thing.
I'm unaware of that happening.
I mean, those bands are still big. Municipal Waste plays in front of lots of people, but it pretty much, you know, sounds like 80s, late 80s thrash type stuff. Yeah, dude.
I like that stuff.
I like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I like a lot of stuff. I have to pee.
Okay.
I don't know. Should we cut it, man?
What? Stop?
The conversation.
I mean, it's up to you. I don't know what we're doing. I've never done this before.
Yeah. You know, we've been going for an hour and 20. Most of the podcasts I do go for like a little over an hour, and
All right.
and I definitely drank a lot of water this morning. But this more or less is an experiment to see. I wanted to test out live streaming the Zoom call, and I'd rather do it with someone like you, like one of my friends, because if shit gets fucked up, I'm not gonna get yelled at or.
Yeah. I'm trying to promote my new fashion line, bro.
Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me, dude.
It's all about me on the internet.
So I mean, that being said, do you want to plug anything before I go take a piss?
I guess if anybody cares, playing at the Blind Texas Marlin Facebook page tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, son.
8 p.m. Sunday.
Sunday, yeah. It's Saturday, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so tomorrow.
Check it out. We got John Curry, a.k.a. Fat Kids from Outer Space, a.k.a. Felix Orleans, a.k.a. Blind Texas Marlin. A man with many pseudonyms. Well, that's it. I appreciate you telling the Katrina story again for me,
no problem.
and whoever's listening. But I'm sure we could like delve into a whole bunch of other shit. But like you and I could talk for hours. But I really need to pee, and I think we should just can it.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it again, man. Go pee.
But I love you, bro, and
I love you too, man.
we had a good convo the other day. You called me like drunk as sin, and it was early.
Oh,
too.
I was fucked up.
But you know, when the alcohol is flowing and people are being like very sincere, sometimes it's like sometimes I just get bashful, you know, and don't know what to say. And you were being very nice. It made me feel good. It was one of those moments where you feel real disconnected through all this pandemic shit. But sometimes you'll get a phone call and you'll be like, wow, you know, sometimes you question whether or not anyone gives a shit, but the phone works both ways, you know? Someone calls you need to reach out to people. If you're a busy guy, sometimes like I don't get a whole lot of fucking people trying to hit me up because I don't know. They're just used to me being really busy. So I get all sad, but then I start hitting people up and now it's kind of a bounce back thing. I definitely feel appreciated, and I appreciate
people just stay in touch.
And I appreciate you, man. I appreciate
you too, dude.
And how, you know, you've been a weirdo this long and you continue. You gave me some of the best advice. And I'm going to try to paraphrase what you said. I remember we were having a phone conversation. I was going through a really rough like relationship thing. And you said something along the lines of like, how did you say? You said, I'm trying to paraphrase it. You said sometimes your weird doesn't mix with someone else's weird, and you just got to get real weird with it. That was like your advice to me. I like talked to you for like an hour about everything that was going on. You just summed it up like that. It was, and I remember like it was like it made me just feel better.
I'm glad I could be there.
You're like, I don't know, man. Sometimes your weird just doesn't mix with someone else's weird, and you just gotta get fucking weird with it. And I just remember being like,
time for change.
I was like, dude, this guy's fucking right. And I appreciate that. And I want to come visit New Orleans. I just want this shit to be over. I want to see my friends. I want to travel. I want to play music. I want to do all that shit. It's cool. You can play a concert and make money in your bedroom, but man, it's not the same.
There's other stuff to do. Yeah, there's definitely other stuff to do. It's not the same.
It's not the same, bro. I want to get in a plane. I want to breathe on people. There was a whole tour where I did this thing where we would do this song, and I would usually like bring a dude up on stage and kiss a dude in front of everyone. And I just like, wait, when can we go back to just kissing strangers on stage, you know?
You know, maybe never.
That's
So
bullshit.
let's hope not.
I don't like that. I like the freedom of being able to like fucking sweat on people. You know?
I dig it, man.
Like you take away you if I can't spit on strangers while I'm like saying dumb shit into a microphone, then what's the point?
I mean, you're gonna have to find a new line of work, maybe.
It seems
if that's what you're looking for in a career.
well, that's one of my favorite things of being a live performer is being able to really like
Articulate yourself on the crowd.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was, you know, it didn't involve spit, but there was a woman one time that grabbed my entire testicles and penis while I was performing, and she pulled on it, and I think she was trying to kill me. She ended up getting like beat up by the cops outside of the venue shortly after that. But
Oh damn.
But those are the moments that stick with you, where you're like, you know, it's like human contact is involved, whether it's spit or fucking some ladies grabbing your nuts on stage. Like that, to me, that's a show, you know? And I want
I understand.
And I want that.
I want that for you. I mean, I want that for us all. I don't know. I miss weirdos in the bar.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You know? Like sharing cigarettes, fucking sharing, you know, joints, hitting pipes, like all that stuff is like everyone's going to be thinking twice about any of that. Hugging people, you know, doorknobs. I just, man, this fucking blows.
It's crazy times, man.
But I hope you know, I'm glad you're staying put and stay healthy and stay creative and stay weird.
You will. Doing my best.
You got this, baby. I think we got
You got this, bud. All good.
I really got to go pee, man.
All right, dude. Well, go take a piss. It's been lovely speaking with you.
Yeah, thanks for, you know, being a part of this experiment.
No problem, dude. Hit me up.
I will hit you up, and you hit me up. And when things go back to normal, if they do, we're coming to New Orleans.
I'll tell you, that'll be sick.
We're going to kick it.
All
right,
yeah,
bro.
You know what's up. All right, dude.
Be good.
Love you, bro.
Love you
Later,
too,
Mike.
man. So you hit the button on the thing.
Stop video.
Yeah. Later,
Later.
dude. Oh.
Bye now.
But you gotta like go to
I'm
end.
getting out. I'm getting out.
leave meeting, I think, is what you gotta hit. Oh. You're still there.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to figure this out. Where's leave? Oh, leave. There we go.
Boom. Later, dude.
Bye.
Why is it still going?
There we go. Okay. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was my friend John Curry from New Orleans, and he's not from New Orleans. He's from North Carolina, and as he explained. And yeah, so we're doing a thing, SUPcast live, because I don't know. I don't feel like recording Zoom calls and doing all that editing. So maybe we're just gonna go live from here on out. Why not? You know. So anyway, links below. If you feel so inclined to donate or join the Patreon, and we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna keep doing it in quarantine. Still in quarantine, still social distancing, still doing all the shit that we're supposed to be doing, and I need to piss really bad. So thank you. We'll see you next time. All right, baby.